We talked about the Great Serpent Mound as an example of indigenous Americans looking at the natural world and seeing supernatural forces within it. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the northwest coast of the North American continent, where we're going to see the same thing being played out again. And so we get to talk about what is one of my very favorite words in the entire course, and that is the name of the group of people who created this next object. The name is, down here at the bottom of the screen, Kwakwaka'wakw. Isn't that awesome? Say it for me, please. Kwakwaka'wakw. I just love that. So the Kwakwaka'wakw people are lucky enough to live in one of the most beautiful and rich environments anywhere on this continent. And so, as you can see in these pictures, the northwest coast has these dense, beautiful, beautiful forests of evergreens with huge cedars and redwoods that sometimes 100 feet high or more. They would be teeming with wildlife for hunting. There are lots and lots of rivers and streams, and the streams support salmon runs that happen every single summer. And so consequently, there is wood for them to make their shelters from. There is wood for them to make their canoes from. They've got plenty of food from the animals in the forest, but most specifically, their main food source comes from those salmon. And so what they do is, for a brief time, for a few weeks in the summertime, they catch as many salmon as they can, they salt them, they cure them, they dry them, and then that few weeks of work provides them with enough food that they can go for the rest of the year without doing much work at all in terms of trying to get any sort of things to eat. So, what I would like you to do right now is make sure that you've got a Google Doc open, make sure that you've got your crayons and some paper, and what I want you to do is I want you to write down in your Google Doc, if you could become another creature, what would it be and why? I want you to pause and write that down. I really struggle with answering that question because part of me would love to be a dolphin. They just look so happy. Another part of me, however, would love to be a bird and soar through the sky. So the next question that I want to ask you, and you don't have to pause to answer this, I want you to just think about it. If you truly could become that creature, would you do it? Hard question, isn't it? Well, what if I added on to that the option of transforming back to become like you are right now? That would make it a whole lot easier to do that, wouldn't it? All right, so this concept of transformation from one creature to another is what is at the heart of the work that we're going to be looking at today. So the Kwakwaka'wakw people are a whole group of tribes that live in this area that you see right here. The Kwakwaka'wakw, that word Kwakwaka'wakw means people who speak Kwakwala. And while they are a variety of tribes, they do have cultural connections through the language, and they also have, in spite of having distinct spiritual beliefs and stories that they tell, there are common beliefs that run among them. And among these is the belief that back early on, all the creatures were united. So all of the creatures in the forest, all of the salmon, all of the birds in the sky, all of the fish in the water, everything, including human beings, were connected. And that the only thing that separated us was our skin. And furthermore, all these creatures had the ability to morph into another form at will. Wow, now that would be really, really awesome. And so what the Kwakwaka'wakw believe is that eventually what happened, that 4 of those creatures, the killer whale, the eagle, the raven, and the wolf, made the decision to stop their transformation and to shed their animal skin and emerge as human in a permanent kind of way. And so when these 4 creatures did that, each one founded one of the 4 Kwakwaka'wakw clans. So as we have come down to the present day, the belief is that the leader of each of the clans is the person who is not only the most powerful person in the clan, but is also the person who is closest to that clan founder who transformed himself into human form. And so as a way of keeping alive and honoring the memory of this clan founder, something really cool happens every winter. What each of the 4 clans does in the cold, in the wetness of the winter, when they would otherwise be hunkered down in their long cedar houses, is each of the clans has what is called a potlatch. That's one word, potlatch, spelled just like it sounds. In a potlatch, what would happen is that they would send out invitations to the other clans to come to the location of this one clan. And guys, it would be like a ginormous family reunion. So think about it, what it's like if you've ever been to a family reunion. What do you have at a family reunion? Well, you've got tons of food, right? And everybody eats and stuffs themselves as much as they want. And there's lots and lots of laughing, and people are connecting with each other, and there are lots and lots of stories. So at a potlatch, we've got the same kind of thing going on, where there is feasting, and there is renewing old acquaintances, and it's coming together as this huge extended family, if you will. And as part of a potlatch, there are ceremonies and rituals in which a mask is worn by high-ranking people within the clan, and these masks, when they are danced, and the dancer is going to be wearing a full costume in addition to the mask, when these are danced, the stories of the ancestors are being told. And so, let's take a look at what one of these masks looks like. What I would like you to do at this point is I would like you to push pause, and I would like you to please do a crayon sketch of this. And so push pause, sketch it, be sure and use your crayons. I want to see some color in there. So come back to me when you're ready. Work. When the mask is danced, let's think about what this performance would be like, because it's not about the mask itself. It's about the performance of the mask, the performance of the dance in which the mask is being danced. What happens is that usually there is music or chanting or drum beats that are going on. We have got, often it's at night, and so there's flickering firelight that is casting dramatic shadows. And so a high-ranking person in the clan would put on this mask. And they would not only have on the mask, they would also have on full body costume. And the belief is that when they put on that mask, that in effect what they are doing is putting on the skin of that original ancestor, that clan founder. And so as the dance begins, the dancer actually goes into a kind of trance, and it's almost like they empty themselves out of their own body so that that ancestor spirit can have a body to come and dance and be present with all of these people in the room. Oh my God, how powerful would that be? And so at a moment in the dance, we can see the dancer dancing and they turn around. And what we can't see is that there are strings attached to the mask. And so when they get turned all the way back around, what we suddenly see is that the animal form has opened up, and here is our human clan founder emerging in that moment of transformation. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is go back to that Google Doc, and I want you to use the most precise words that you possibly can to simply describe what you see right here. Okay? Come back to me when you're ready. So let's talk about what we see. Well, first of all, let's talk about what is the material from which this is made. It's clear that this is wood, and you'd be really smart if you guessed that this was made from red cedar. You can see that red cedar right along that seam right there. And so red cedar is a really evenly grained soft wood, and so it's very easy to carve in it. We can see that the wood has been shaped into this form that has these really strong projections, like the beak of the bird right here, as well as these really deep voids, like what we see behind the open mouth right here, and under the eyebrow ridges, the strong projection of the nose right here. And so imagine this in motion, being danced in the firelight, and the kind of dramatic shadows that these voids and projections would be showing. And so in addition to that, we can see the very abstract designs that are painted on the inside. On the outside, we see this typical kind of ovoid shape. We might think of it as a rectangle with rounded off corners. This is a shape that we see over and over and over in the masks and art of the people of the Northwest Coast. And in addition to that, certainly before contact with Europeans, what they used were paints that were made from traditional sources. And so, for example, if they used black, then they would have used charcoal. When they created the reddish brown that we see, then that would have been made from that natural occurring chalk called ochre that we talked about when we talked about the caves at Lascaux. When they created, in order to create this blue-green kind of color that we see in a lot of it, that was actually made from a blue-green kind of clay. We can also see the use of fiber up here representing feathers. And you can also see the strings that come through the eye holes to help open and close the mask. Wow, so cool. All right, I really want you to see just a few seconds of one of these transformation masks being danced. And so I'm going to show you just a few seconds of a video, and I will put down in the comments the link in case you want to see this entire video, which is really, really cool. So let's go to that video.
From our very beginning, we were a world of transformation. We had all of our first ancestors transformed from other beings. And so from that point on, through our evolution, masks have played an integral part in the things we do, the things we say we stand for, the things we believe in.
I love that video because of the way in which the light shines on the face of that ancestor right in that great reveal, right in that moment when the ancestor is emerging as fully human. You know, just kind of summing up, I can't help thinking, how wonderful would it be if we could go into a room with all of our family and summon the spirits of our ancestors, our beloved ancestors, into the bodies of people who were there to tell their stories. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right. I want you to say it one more time for me. Kwakwaka'wakw.